Hey guys! Oh, I love this reading time together. I, of course, wish that it was a real thing, but I do feel like you're with me, and I hope that you've been enjoying these videos because I've had a lot of fun making them for you. And so let's just get right to it. If you notice, we have a new chart, a new one. So we have our friend. You can think of a name for him if you want, but he's going to help us with some reading habits. So first, I want you to notice he has a speech bubble, and I've been noticing in a lot of your drawings and your journal entries or your reading responses that you guys are doing speech bubbles, and I love that. That is such a great detail that adds so much to your picture and your illustration. And anyways, it makes me really happy. So this speech bubble says, "Am I getting it?" Wonder why he's thinking that. Let's see. So here's our new toolkit, okay? This says tools for understanding our books. Okay, now this says, wait a second, here, I'm actually gonna, remember these are like sticky notes, so I'm gonna take it off so you can see it. Check that you're getting it. And look, here's a friend who might be it looks like maybe he's a little bit confused. That's kind of that kind of face. So right here, he's thinking about a book, and there's a lot of question marks. So maybe he's confused. And right here, this says reread. Oh, so I see what they're trying to teach us. If you're confused, you should reread. Now, this brings me to a great, our next point. Now we're at the end of our first grade time together, which is exciting, but it's sad, and it's a lot of different emotions. But what's exciting for me to see is that at the beginning of the year, we were reading smaller books that had a lot of pictures and not a lot of words. And now we're reading longer books, some that even have chapters, a lot of them that have chapters actually, and have a lot of words. Even if you're reading a book that doesn't have chapters, I know that from what you're reading that you are reading books with a lot more words than before. So that's amazing, and you should give yourself a pat on the back for that, because that is a huge step in first grade. Even in our morning meetings, you all are reading a chapter book with me because our Henry and Mudge series, those have chapters, remember? So what's really important, and even when I'm doing my independent reading on my own and I'm reading chapter books, I still sometimes at the end of a chapter or after a couple of pages, sometimes I'm so focused on how to say those words or learning what different words mean that I'm forgetting to kind of do a little recap in my head or review of what actually is happening. I'm so focused on these words that I know what the words say, but am I following what's going on in the story? What's happening in the plot? What's the main idea? What's the author's purpose? Why are they writing this book for us to read anyway? So that's what we're going to do together today. And some of you may have read some of these books, but it is by, this is called Mr. Putter and Tabby Walk the Dog. And this is a series that's really funny with these Mr. Putter books. They're always really silly. And it's by the same author as Henry and Mudge. So I have another one of these, so maybe next week I'll read that one too. And I thought this would be a really good way for us to check to see if we're getting it. Now, so I'm going to move a little bit closer to you. I sat kind of far back at first because I wanted you to see this toolkit. So now check out my heading. Okay. Oh no, I erased some of it by accident. It looks like Miss Knowlton. The date, today's date of, so this would be, well, I'm not quite sure, but whatever the day is that you're watching this is what you will write here. And I wrote it the short way. You're welcome to write it the short way or the long way. And then I want you to write the skill so that it's so important to have a heading so that we remember what our work was about. Check that you're getting it. Okay, so let's get started. I'll push this out of the way for now. Okay. Mr. Putter and Tabby walk the dog. All right, so look, there's 3 chapters. The Lollipup, the Nightmare, the Dream Dog. Lollipup? Huh. It has the word pup in it, which is kind of like a puppy or a dog. And then I see a dog right, it says the Dream Dog. So it must be, this story must have a lot to do with this dog. That's just kind of what I'm thinking, what I'm gonna expect, but we'll see. All right. Chapter 1, the Lollipup. Mr. Putter and his fine cat, Tabby, live next door to Mrs. Teaberry and her small dog, Zeke. Mrs. Teaberry sometimes gave Mr. Putter eggplant for his supper. So they're neighbors, okay. And Mr. Putter sometimes gave Mrs. Teaberry kiwis for lunch. That's so nice. So sometimes they give each other little gifts. They were very happy living side by side. Oh, this little doggy looks happy, but the cat does not look happy. Wait, so right here, I was wrong. This must be the cat. This must be Tabby the cat. One day, Mrs. Teaberry slipped on a kiwi and hurt her foot. Mr. Putter and Tabby took her to the doctor. The doctor said, "This foot needs a rest. No walking Zeke for a week." "No walking Zeke for a week," cried Mrs. Teaberry. "But who will walk my little Lollipup?" She always called Zeke her little Lollipup. Then Mr. Putter, who had a very soft heart, said, I will walk your little Lollipup." Mrs. Teaberry was happy. Okay, so somebody who has a soft heart means that someone who's very kind, maybe very sensitive, and really has a lot of empathy for other people and really thinks about what other people might need help with or things like that. So, wait. I just spent a lot of time talking about what a soft heart was, figuring out that this was a cat, that's Tabby, not the dog, and now I can't really remember what I've read so far. So let me maybe back up a page and see let's reread a little bit. Okay. They were very happy living side by side. One day, Mrs. Teaberry slipped on a kiwi and hurt her foot. Mr. Putter and Tabby took her to the doctor. Oh, okay, now I remember. So she can't walk Zeke the dog. Okay. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to just kind of jot some things down so that I can remember what's going on, so that next time I don't have to go back through the pages, and it's just going to be right here on just you'll have a sheet of paper or your journal in front of you, and I have my handy little whiteboard easel thing. Okay, so what's helpful is that I can use my book as a resource if I forget how to spell someone's name. Let's see. So Mr. Putter and Mrs. Teaberry. So this is when let's see, Teaberry. Oh, no. Teaberry. Oh, there it is. Teaberr. See, I'm still not used to this camera because that slide. I think I should go this way. And Mrs. Teaberry. Live next to each other. Okay. She gets hurt and can't walk. And can't walk Zeke. Who's Zeke again? The dog, you're right. Can't walk. So I'm going to do this kind of like bullet points that I know we've talked about before. This would be a lot neater if my easel was aligned. So there's one bullet point. Here's another. She gets hurt and can't walk. Her dog. Okay. Now, let's see what happens next. This is when it gets silly. Okay. But Mrs. Teaberry was a little worried. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. This camera filming is hard. But she was a little worried. I hope she doesn't tug, she said. Oh, no, said Mr. Putter. Zeke won't tug. I hope he doesn't wrap around the trees, she said. Oh, no, said Mr. Putter again. Zeke won't wrap. And I hope he doesn't chase other dogs, she said finally, especially the big ones. Oh, no, said Mr. Putter for the last time. Zeke is a good dog. Zeke is a fine dog. Mr. Putter looked at the lollipop. Zeke is a dream dog, Mr. Putter said with a smile. Chapter 2, The Nightmare. Let's see, do we need to add anything to chapter 1? Mr. Putter and Mrs. Teaberry live next to each other. She gets hurt and can't walk her dog. Maybe I'll just add that Mr. Putter's going to take care of Zeke, and I'll write his name. Okay, so I'll do another bullet point. Mr. Putter takes care of Zeke. Okay. Mr. Putter takes care of Zeke. Uh-oh. So the next chapter is called It Was a Nightmare. This dog must not be as much of a dream dog as Mr. Putter was thinking. Zeke was a nightmare. The first day Mr. Putter and Tabby took him for a walk. He tugged and tugged and tugged. Uh-oh. He tugged Mr. Putter and Tabby through yards. Oh no, that's a sprinkler system. If you can't quite see that. In creeks and houses they had never been through before. Look, oh, all the neighbors are sticking out of their windows. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and pudding and a nap. That sounds pretty nice. Maybe I'll do that after this. Zeke is not a dream dog, Mr. Putter said to Tabby when they woke up. Zeke is a nightmare. So Zeke is not a good listener. Uh-oh. So right here, you can tell his leash is wrapped around a tree, and it's getting, even more wrapped. And look, now Mr. Putter is wrapped around the tree with Tabby, and the dog is just kind of roaming around and doesn't even really care. The second day, they took him for a walk. Zeke wrapped around trees. He wrapped around an elm tree. He wrapped around a pine tree. He wrapped around a pear tree. And he always wrapped Mr. Putter and Tabby with him. Trouble. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and popovers and a nap. Zeke is not a dream dog, Mr. Putter said to Tabby when they woke up. Zeke is a nightmare. On the third day, Zeke chased dogs, and he didn't chase little ones. He chased big ones. He chased a Russian wolfhound. He chased a Great Dane. He chased a St. Bernard. Oh gosh. He chased them until they got bored with being chased. Then they turned around and chased Zeke and Mr. Putter and Tabby. The big dogs chased them through yards and creeks and houses they had never been through before. Yikes. When Mr. Putter and Tabby got home, they had to have some warm milk and shortbread and a nap. Zeke is not a dream dog, Mr. Putter said. He is a nightmare. And the two of them sat a long time wondering what to do. They weren't sure if they could live through 4 more days with the lollipop. Okay, so now I'm on chapter 3. And this says the dream dog. But But the other chapter that we just read was called The Nightmare. I think this is a good time for me to stop and jot so that I can check to make sure that I'm getting it and make sure what's going on. So let's see. Basically, a lot of what that chapter was saying was all the things that the dog was doing wrong. He's not listening. He is wrapping his leash around the tree and doing all of these things. So I'm going to say I'm going to say exactly what Mr. Putter said. Zeke is a nightmare. Okay, and remember, I can look back at my book, at the chapter, to remember how to spell this. Nightmare. Okay. Just so that I can help remember that he's a nightmare, I'm going to say an exclamation point, and I'm going to underline it so it stands out a little bit more. Zeke is a nightmare. All right, the last chapter, Dream Dog. Here's the deal, Zeke, Mr. Putter said on the 4th day. You be a good dog, and every day after our walk, you'll get a nice surprise. Zeke was a smart dog. He knew what the deal was. The 4th day, he didn't tug, he didn't rap, and he didn't chase. He was a dream dog. Oh, it says Frosty Freeze. It's ice cream sundae, looks like. So Mr. Putter and Tabby took him to the Frosty Freeze. Zeke had a hot fudge sundae with extra cherries. The 5th day, Zeke didn't tug, and he didn't rap, and he didn't chase. He was a dream dog again. So he needs that reward. Oh my gosh. He is on a diving board. So Mr. Putter and Tabby took him to the swimming pool. He jumped off the diving board 15 times. You could not, this must be a fiction book, because you couldn't take a dog to the swimming pool to jump off the diving board. Look at, oh my gosh. On the 6th day, Zeke was a dream dog, and he went to the carnival. Do you guys remember those? If you go into the mirror houses, they can make you look really big and kind of play tricks on your eyeballs. And I see the Ferris wheel. On the 7th day, Zeke was a dream dog, and he went to the zoo. Mr. Putter and Tabby took Zeke home for the last time. Mrs. Teaberry asked, was Zeke a good lollipop? And Mr. Putter, who had brought her pecans instead of kiwis, smiled the biggest smile. He said, Zeke was a dream lollipop. Then he and Tabby said goodbye and went home and had a party. Look at all of the things on this page. That is so funny. Let's see, there's Tabby eating the cake, and there's cookies and ice cream and balloons, and oh my gosh, so fun. Okay, so I had so much fun reading that. Now I kind of forgot what happened. So, and I want to make sure I write it down too. So let's see here. Mr. Putter and Mrs. Teaberry live next door to each other. She gets hurt and can't walk her dog. Mr. Putter takes care of Zeke. Zeke is a nightmare. Okay, so let's go back. I'm going to go back and look at some of these pages, because all I really remember right now is that he ended up being good. Okay, so Mr. Putter decides to give Zeke treats. I'm going to write it down as I'm thinking so I don't forget it. All right, Mr. Putter gives Zeke treats for being good. Treats handwriting's not very neat right now. For being good. Okay, So Mr. Potter gives Zeke treats for being good. So in the end, this is what really helped motivate him to be a good boy, right? In the end, do you guys remember what that last chapter is called? You said dream dog, you were right. In the end, this helped him, or I'm gonna say in the end, he was a dream dog. A dream, oh, I'm running out of room. A dream doggy. Okay. All right, so now I've got all these ideas that I felt like were important to me to understand, because sometimes when you read so many pages, like we just did, it's hard to remember all the things. Like it's hard for me to even remember back to chapter 1 right now. But it's a good thing that I have it all written down right here so that I can do a little review in my head and make sure that I understood the story and understood what was going on. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you very soon.